All right, all you devils out there. Oh, here we are, the first of the month here. Oh, it's a little after 1 for me. I admit I'm a little behind schedule here. I'm just trying to come up with some alternate counts here based on this interesting action we've had overnight. Boy, Bitcoin sure did pop. It was a very. It appears to be one large buyer, but of course, once it starts to make a move like that, then liquidations start happening and stops getting filled. And so the move gets exaggerated. Now, we're going to look at a couple of variations here. Now, we'll just start here since this has been the count we've been reviewing here. Now, just looking at here, while this is encouraging here, well, two things you'll note. We stay inside of this inside channel, which is these are 223.6s. And the thought in this count being that we've got a candidate, right? And again, we've done this, the last couple of months already, something along that. Well, here, actually, if we're going to use that, oh God, I think you guys get the drift here, right? So possibly right now, we'll see, right? If this is a WXY, we're going to come down here and then finish that triangle here. So if you just look at it, part of the assumption here is to be, again, as I've stressed the last couple of, well, shit, we're damn near going on 6-7 weeks now. Length of the two, right? If this is the 4, it just doesn't look right. Well, so now I'm going to show you some alternates here that might deal with that. And you can think of it this way. The whole premise is off of the idea that while we've got this push up here outside of the upper channel here, to get better balance here, you would anticipate that at some point, I'm going to do it this way, we're going to get into this lower channel. Now, we don't have to get here now. It's possible that we're going to go up here, finish, and then something like this might get us to balance this out. Again, there are no absolutes. There's no requirement for the market to do anything, right? It does not need to ever again come down into this section. It's just you would look at this and say, it seems probable at some point here that we're just going to balance this out somewhere, right? If it's not here with something like this, at some point you would think we'd revisit this in the course of a correction. Now, again, I'm going to show you some very, very bullish counts today, which, well, it's certainly not that I'm not rooting for it or hopeful that it runs. Again, I'm very long Bitcoin. It's just, again, I remain a little reluctant here to just buy into the idea that we've gone that this is, well, again, we'll look at some alternates here, that the correction's over and now it's just game on. And we're just going to rip out of this and we're going to go from this little correction here and off we go. Now, there is a very valid count that would suggest that. But before we do that here, let me just bring over here, since I've had it in Motive Wave, I'm just going to bring it over here again. Not a lot has changed here with regards to where you would anticipate. Now, here's the big pop last night. It doesn't invalidate this count. It makes you a little more hesitant here because of the size of that move. I mean, what do we got, a $4,300 move? Makes you a little reluctant about it. But so if we look here, again, the Motive Wave's just kind of doing this automatically. If it's going to hold as a triangle here, so we'd be, if I highlight it here, right? So if it's A, B, we're working on the C still, D, E, we'd come in over here. Oh, again, just, this would be the 100. So somewhere around 36 before, and that would balance us out. Now, with this kind of move, you know that bulls here are just, rock hard, right? They're so excited about this. And I'd be, again, it's just such an odd space to be in. I've been bullish since 1800. And all of a sudden here, I'm just reluctant to just buy into the idea that the low's in here. Now, again, we'll look through some counts here where we can get confirmation. Sorry, mute button. But just look here now. Again, I'm out here on the daily. So if it's A, B, right? So if this is the an ABC down here, one possibility here is you've got a W, and then we'd be projecting. You'd anticipate 3 into the X. Well, okay, all right. So if I just, I'm going to just use Motive Wave here and say if the X relative to the W, well, what are we doing here? We're right at, well, essentially we're right in the golden zone here. All right, this is the 618, which would be the high probability location for the X relative to the W. Well, then you might look and say, well, how about the A to the B to the C? And if I do it this way, and now you'll note here, I'm projecting over here, I've got, candidate up here. Here would be the 1618. So this could go, certainly could go a little higher relative to the ABC. We would not invalidate the X. Well, this could go, well, if we break this pivot, this is going to start to look like something else is going on. But I would just caution you about getting overly enthusiastic about that. Well, I mean, essentially what we did, we just popped right up into, I mean, just look across, right? Prior structure here, we're just popping into the resistance. What was support, now resistance, support, right? Now is it resistance again? So, okay, right, it's encouraging, right? If you're long, I would imagine most are looking for opportunities to get long. Well, I would tell you that would be a dangerous place to be entering the market, right? After we've had this big swing. Now, I know it's just natural for a trader to look at that and go, oh, we're going to keep ripping. And certainly that's possible. I would just caution you, right? I mean, of course, so members would know this. And of course, any long-term YouTube subs here. That's just not something I would ever buy, right? I'm a retracement trader, so while that's okay, great, encouraging, I would just be waiting for the retracement, right? I'm just not a breakout trader and would encourage you to be very cautious if that's what you're doing, right? So if it breaks higher and then we come back down and retrace to test it, then that might look interesting. But here as it sits right now, I mean, that would be a brave short to take, right? So I'm not suggesting anybody short that. But I guess my broader point here is just we have not invalidated the idea that we've got a triangle here. Although we've, doesn't take much more where all of a sudden we're going to be relabeling this here. And we'll just push the triangle off and say, okay, well, that wasn't what the market wanted or how it revealed or how it responded. Still very much in play. If that's the X, we'd be looking for the Y down here. And then I've got 100 and a couple of the targets down here if we roll over here. Let's see here. Oh God, what have I got over here? Okay, so here it is with a little more detail. I was looking at this last night thinking, boy, that's a 1, 2, 3. Boy, there's a nice looking long right there. And now, so all I'm doing here is just breaking it down to a little more detail. So A, B, C, we got that, right? So candidate, just that. It's just, here, let me change that color. Just candidate for the W. Just that, right? It's a candidate for the W. A, B, right? This is, you can count this, right? You can get an impulse here. A, B, C, right? Then 1, 2, 3. Well, this sideways action sure looks like a 4. And then we get just this massive launch here in the 5. So does it look like it's done? Well, I mean, if you look inside this, and it's tempting to think 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's another kick in that to get up to a 5. Again, we won't invalidate until we take out this pivot. I would just caution you about getting overly optimistic here. Now, if we retrace a little bit, and here I can do something like, come here, I can get that hot. Bring it into something along these lines. Retrace it a little bit. Now that might get more interesting, right? Certainly you would be buying off of structure. Okay, there'll be some profit taking. A little retracement here. Okay, if you're an uber bull, well, we'd have to look at how that would be counted. And again, I'm going to look at some alternates here. But it's not right there ready to say, okay, that counts invalidated and no good anymore. Let me, let's see, what have I got over here? Okay, this is the one of the alternates we're going to look at. But the thing that I thought was striking here, and I'm going to show this to you on TradingView where we can, I can do it over here. I just can't remember how to get there. Look at if this is ABC, right? And then we've gone in, and this is an impulse, and we've corrected down here. Well, one possibility is that this, of course, as we've looked at this, is that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God, there's probably 12 ways to count that. But we complete something up here. ABC. Well, okay, just standard ops. Certainly 1, 2 is something to consider. So how are we going to know that? Well, if we get up here to something along these lines here, and we can just, same thing we would do, whether it's, if I just do 3, come here, 3 versus 1. Okay, well, that's 100% right there. Bring it down here. Let's get these up. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, there's 100, right? So that puts us over 72. So this would be new all-time high. So if we're going up to get this off of the 1, 2, well, then we're going to blow right through that pivot, and that's going to be fuel. There'll be, don't expect it to go straight. But it'll likely be a stop run there, go up, come back down, then go again, right? Because you'd be anticipating, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's striking about this is that look at the angle of this retracement relative to this one. They are identical. I measured them over in TradingView. I'll show this in a second. They are absolutely on the exact same angle. Interesting, right? So it may be only interesting to a TA geek, but you know, like myself, of course, which I would consider myself. Absolutely interesting. Well, and if nothing more, right? It's just interesting, right? This angle is identical to this angle, both at 50 degrees. Interesting. So, right. So if this is the count here, well, you know, possibly 1, 2. You might say, okay, 3, 4, 5. That would just be the one of the 3, because if we're going to get a true 3, we're anticipating this to go much higher, right? Now we're over 100. If this is 1, 2, 3, we just 1, 2, right? We're just in the 1. We'd likely, if this is going to hold as 1, 2, we're likely just in the first wave of the 1 of the 3. So there's going to be opportunity. So don't FOMO here. Well, my suggestion would be careful about the FOMO, right? Because the whole planet now thinks, okay, Bitcoin's off to new highs. And again, I am not saying it's not likely to do that. You know, who knows, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen there. I, along with most bulls across the space, would tell you that one thing I do know is that 2, 3, we're going to pick your number of years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to be a whole lot higher than we are here and a whole lot higher than 64K, right? So it's just how we get there. So I'd be cautious there. So if this is the one of the 3, plenty of opportunity to get long here. So let the market confirm the action, right? Otherwise, you're just rolling the dice. Well, it's up. Okay, well, I guess I'll buy it. Well, I mean, just looking at it, right? You just look at where do we stop, right? And it's a golden zone, right? So we'll look at it in a second, but you're right at that structure here. So, okay, we stall there. That makes sense. Now you can understand, well, so bears are going to be defending there. Okay, now can we push through, get a little more push, and then maybe a retrace here? That would be a great buy. But as it sits right now, oh boy, I wouldn't be adding there myself. Okay, so I think that we covered here this possibility here. If we're covering here, then we'd be looking for a move down here to break out break some of this structure here to freak everybody out. Then, well, boy, if we get the opportunity, that would be interesting. We don't have it yet, and then this just being kind of an interesting alternative. If it's 1, 2. Well, we got some big targets up here going into, well, let's see, there's an 8 hour. So we could be going in well into the end of the year over 100, right? A lot of people think that's what's coming. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it gets us up there. Push that off here. All right, so here, as we've looked at it here, you know, so the triangle being, you know, something like that, and then we take off. I sure would like to see something, right? It's get outside of this little channel here so we could confirm what the price action is. So with that said, let's see. I was kind of retooling this a little bit to see, is there some of the early counts that we were on? Oh, hang on a second. It's hot as hell in here. I was kind of playing with some of the internal stuff here. Okay, if this is going to be the 4, do we have to rethink what's going on here? Again, my whole hesitation to be a raging bull off of this price action here is that lack of balance between the two, right? It's not that it has to be identical. It just doesn't look right to me. So again, so one of the possibilities I'm presenting here is that if we're going to go up here and get the 5, okay, so let's consider that. Well, then you'd be, oh God, where do I have it? Over here. If we're going to do that, let's think about that for a sec. If it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to hold and we're going to get this 5. Well, I'd be revisiting some of this here, and we're going to look at an even more amazingly, even more bullish count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is just as we were looking. Okay, so it's 1, 2. We're working on the 3 to get up and get that 5. And then, as I was kind of alluding to earlier, perhaps we get this that gets us into that lower channel, and then we go, right? So, although actually, well, let's just do it the right way. If we were to get, oh, here, let's use the algo target just so we've got something to work with. Let's use that. We get up here, we get our, let's do it the right way. Let's do it this way. Length of the 1 projected from what would be the proposed. Let's get you right on that pivot. Okay, well that's not bad, right? So there's the 100, right? So equality between the length of the 1 projected from the proposed 4, that would be 100, would get us right there, right? So if we got there, what are we at? 138. Oh God, I know this is hard to see. Let's get rid of that one. Okay, so where would be? God, I got the wrong one on there. Hang on. We got this one gave us our target. This one, let's get you. I got platinum on there. Okay, let's try again. If that's the 5, let's just use it. Oh, here, right? So what are we looking for the retrace, right? So this would be the 50, would be bringing us back. And again, I don't have that 5, right? So I'm just kind of playing with this, saying, okay, if we're going up there, if this is going to complete up here, where are we? Right, this is boom, 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 right? Could we come down that far? Well, nothing says we have to go to do a 50, but that's kind of the roadmap. You'd be, come here, maybe something. I doubt it would. Something along those lines. So this would be the God, do I even have that up here? I don't know. Oh, do I? No, I guess I don't. Right, it's somewhere. It's somewhere up there. This would be the 1, 2. This would be the 3. 1, 2. Right, we're completing the 3 here, and while we don't get the ideal balance, we could get it. Again, nothing says it has to go to the 50. We might get something like that, right? If the median lines are going to stay so influential as I think it would be hard to argue that it hasn't been. 1, 2, 3 right now. Again, note here we're just banging in and out of that inside channel at the median line. Right? It was very common for the market to do that, to just gravitate back and forth around that median line. Now, if we kick out of here and we get that 5, well, then this is likely how you're going to end up labeling this. Although, again, I do have one even more bullish count that we'll look at here, which is, it's true bull porn, right? It may very well be what we get. So I think that covers us there. Now let's let me, having reviewed what we've been looking at. Oh shit, where do I have them? Okay, let's come over here and look at. I'm going to move pretty quickly today. I think this is perhaps the most bullish count that I can come up with here. There's some other very talented Elliottians working off of this premise, and this requires a little bit of a relabeling here. I got some influence here from Laura over at Pure Elliott Wave. This is what count that she's like, and as I've mentioned before, I have a lot of respect for her work. She is a true purist. Let me get that right up here. She's a true purist, which I'm not, which is why I'm always interested in her work. Her view is, coming off of this, that, oh shit, so we've gone 1, 2, and that this is not long enough to be a 3 based on Bitcoin's historical context here. We look at previous 3s in relationship to the 1, 2. It's not enough, so we're doing 1, 2. Now, I pause a little bit at that, right? So as in this would be unusually shallow to have this be our 2, particularly since we had just such a deep 2 here. But maybe that's some sort of alternation going on. It's hard to get your head around that, because if this is 1, 2 and we've just done 1, 2, 1, 2, wow, right? Here's $500,000. It just becomes, well, it's truly is bull porn, right? That's getting me hard, right? So this is just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? We are off. We've got, 100K will be just a blink, right? That you just kind of track it out. If that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get us the 3 right here, and I'm just free drawing and just assuming we get something typical. Not that Bitcoin is prone to being typical, but if we get a big rip out of this, then maybe we're thinking 4 comes over here, and we get the 5 up here. But this set of median lines could well contain the whole move. So there's a lot here, but we can't. My view is you can't assume anything here. The market has to prove it, right? So otherwise, again, you're just buying it because, hey, it's still below 50,000. So why would you not buy it, right? If you're just a long-term bull and you don't care about any of this, right? So what of course, why would you be watching this video if that's the case? If you're looking for more precision, I feel that temptation to go, oh fuck, man, low is in, we are off, man. I feel that, but I would just caution you: make the market prove it, rather than you make an assumption about what's going on there. Just again, a lot of years of doing this, I find that when I make an assumption, 8 out of 10 times you'll be just completely asked backwards on what happens. So let's let it confirm here. All right, now you see here, this will be a break of the golden zone here. That'd be a pretty good break of it here in log. Here we'll go look at it. We did get a break in log scale, which is interesting. Let's come over here. Okay, so here's where we sit right now. So here's the conundrum we've been dealing with, right? I get this question a lot from members. How do we deal with the log, no log, right? So when we zoom in here and we're looking at a range here from 53 to 40, we're not looking at what we were looking at previously, which was 3K to 60K or 64K. So here, when I zoom in like this and I'm just looking at a tighter range here, I want to look at both. I mean, I look at both, right? You can't, right? Because there's no way for us to confirm how the algos are working here, right? Unless you're talking to someone who's writing that code, all we can do is observe with our eyes and say, are they responding here? Well, again, here would be that count that we looked at. So we can say we looked at this as well earlier, right? Last week, I think. So here, if I do it in log, right, we're right to the golden zone, right? We come down, we get that scale. If I take it out of log, right, it doesn't invalidate. Here, it's a front run on the 618. We still get the target. Now we do this chop. Now note here, if I go to the absolute low out of log, well, all we've done is tag the golden zone, which makes you think, oh, I still have a candidate here. I can't assume anything. We got other pivots. So next up, you see why I have this alert here. I want to see how it responds when it gets to that pivot. If we get a clean break here, now if we do, right, if we break up here, again, careful about buying into that, right? That's we're moving from 40 to you got a 10K move. There will be strong temptation amongst people who are trading this, right? To take some profit, right? You can just anticipate how that might lead to a retrace. Now, if we come back down here, well, here's POC on visible range, right? You can see how that might be a place to look to enter, but let it break the hard resistance. I'd want to see it break this pivot, come up, and then retest below. In effect, retest from above, right? On a retest and test the support, right? There's a bunch of supply come in here. What happens? It's tricky, right? So ABC, right? It plays dispute, and that looks like it wants to go, doesn't it? It just looks like it wants to go. Oh, what do we got down below, right? You're pretty hot here. Now I'm on a 30-minute. Let's go to the 60. RSI still pretty hot. No, absolutely no divergence at all. Sometimes I'll take these out by the hour and see, well, now how do I look here at the 4 hour? I reset here. How's my RSI? Well, we're still, right? But note, right, last time, right, again, doesn't mean that it can't, look here, like we can stay overextended or extended for a long period of time. Eventually, there's an energy release, right? So eventually, this will release, right? Eventually, as it did here, right, we'll come down, we'll get that release. Now, we're not there yet, but you can see the potential for that to stall there. And again, we're just kind of, I would think most of you would do the same thing and say, well, that's clearly this was prior support, it breaks, now resistance. Okay, now we're back to resistance. And it's kind of the same thing down here, right? I would kind of assume most of you all do the same thing there. So we're still in the box, right? From this swing low, right? We broke the 50. Now here, I'm out of log scale. We broke the 50. We don't get golden zone here. We pop right to the golden zone here. So still an algo fight. And still the contender is there that we come back down, right? So here, so you can just look at this algorithm here is going to stay short until it gets right back to this golden zone here, or this target being just on the other side of it. So this is encouraging, right? So if you're bullish, I get it, right? I'm with you there. Again, I'm long term as bullish as anyone, but as a trader, I think that's a high risk location to be entering the market. Retrace, right? So what if well, look at it this way. If it's the X, we're going to get an A, and then we anticipate the B, right, to bring us down for the C. So whatever we get here, at some point, you're likely to anticipate. Let's just think about it. If we go up and then come back down. Right, now it starts to get, now we're talking about a whole nother scenario, because then we could eliminate the triangle. We can't quite do that yet. Or the fact that we get a double, that we get a WXY. Right? Can't eliminate it yet. So stay tuned as, I mean, what do we got to get to here? We got to get to 52 and change. God, it could do that over the weekend easily. One thing that's encouraging is with all the volatility we're seeing in the equity markets, seeing Bitcoin rally so hard. Well, now the equity markets are rallying, but to see it go this far, while the rest of the market, and it started yesterday, while the rest of the market was tanking, it's kind of encouraging. You want to see that decoupling from the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. I would prefer to see that rather than going lockstep with one another. So to be continued, right? Obviously, we'll kind of monitor this. If we get that good break over the weekend, this potentially serves. So this whole thing serves as potentially some nice support. So if this goes 3 and we come down and we get a 4, well, then that's a buy that you want to look at. 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe there's more, 3, 4. Test it from above. Test all that structure here, right? The market will want to do that. And then we go up. Now we eliminate. That's just the process of elimination. Now we eliminate the triangle. Now we're back to is that the 4? Right. So, and at what degree? So that will keep it interesting and challenging. Right. As Bitcoin is always challenging, but as it sits right now, I think this is. Let's see how it goes. What else do I have here? Let me bring this over here. Is this where I did it? One of these I had the. Oh, hang on a second. I thought I had it over here where I measured those. Yeah, here it was. I found this fascinating. So here's that angle, all right? So if I highlight this, can I get that? Let's push you off. Right, so if I deviate just a little bit, right? So if I put it right on the angle, right? So I'm going right to that B, right? So if I deviate a little bit, right? You see the difference, but I get it right on the 50. Now, note here, the exact same thing, right on the 50, right? If I deviate, right? But if I put it right on there, there it is, right? So we're right on it. So we've got 2 identical angles into the B. It's just interesting to me. All right, so we shall see. Now let's dig in there and see. Okay, if this is 1, 2, 3, well, it's hard to call that. Let's go down there, 2 hour here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this looks like it's not pretty, right? So 1, 2, I remember, again, I was looking at this last night going, boy, I was not anticipating that. You can see how here it came in, it stalled for a second right at the prior structure. What are we doing here? And then here was the bar that kicked it on a 2 hour here, but this happened pretty quickly. So is that the 5, right? Or is there more to go here? Because you could kind of see a possibility. If this is the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can't get, it ain't pretty. Let's see if I go to 1. Can we get a 4, 1, 2? I can't quite get that to work. 1, 2. It looks like that's the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like there could be a little bit more in that. For quite the extension in the 5th. I mean, that's a big. The symmetry isn't ideal, right? So, but it stays an impulse, right? So we don't overlap the 1. It's is it A, B, C into the B, A, B, C? Do you have a W, X, Y here? You kind of want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm not sure you can get it to work. 1, 2, 3. You don't get a. Well, that would be a stretch to call that the 2. You don't get a great start to it. So I'm inclined. I mean, the best you could do is here, but then that's your 2. Well, stranger things have happened in Bitcoin, but down here, you see the RSI. Well, now on the 1 hour here. So as we make that flip here, now you're a little bit overdone here. These retracements like this is ideal, right? Again, this is an RSI. It's just done as a histogram. So these kind of retraces here back to the 0 line and the pop is just kind of thing you want to look for. And now as we sit up here, a little divergence here, you can see how that might start to retrace a bit. And you'd be like from here to here. Okay, looks like that might have a little more push in it. Shit, who knows, right? I mean, that could be up here in the blink of an eye. This is a little squirrely in here as to what it is, so it makes me a little cautious. But here, this would be the clean break here where we'd break that golden zone in arithmetic. I don't see 1, 2. Let's see, what is there? The only other thought is we're doing it this way. God, can you even get that to where I want to do this? 1 A B C 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. I need more here. I got to see how far that goes here before I can really label this here with any degree of confidence. But just looking at as it sits right there, well, this will be an area that would be tested, but that looks like a little baby 4. So you'd be thinking 3. Maybe we get up here and complete this. But look how, see this, you don't want this to all be self-contained. So, yeah, what I actually would prefer to see is that this is all still yet to come. So this is the 1, 2. This is all part of the 3. So 1, 2, this is a little bit of a fucker. 1, 2, you're kind of stuck with this as a 3, 4, and you're up for the 5. So then we'd be looking at it this way. If this is the 1, and this is the 2, right? Well, here's what we're looking for, right? That 1, 6, 1, 8, right? Can we get this 3? Now retest some of this and then go up and break it into that 3, 4, 5. Then I think you'd start to really lock into the idea. Okay, this was a 1, 2. Let's put it all back together, right? So this completes the 1 A B C into the 2 1 2. Now I want this big 3 here. I want that big 3 to come in here and tell me I'm in a third. Oh, shit. You can kind of see how this could all play together, right? Always too fast with that. 3, 4. All right, up for the 3, down for the 4, up for the 5, right? So now we start to get, we'd be right back to, okay, what would that be? All right, that would be the 1. We'd be looking for the 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just kind of put them up there somewhere. Let's put them here. We'll put them in blue. Okay, so trying to complete the 1 here, right, if we can get up and do that, right? 3, 4, come back, test that support, go up, kick, break this high. I guess we can get rid of that thing now. Break that high. Now come up here, give me the 5 of the 1. Now, so as I'm looking at this and watching her, as I always am, looking for where is the next opportunity to be a buyer. Well, if we complete that, right, which we could do that over the weekend, right? That's where I would be a buyer, right in here, right at this mid 4s. Let's just do it that way. Right, this would be appealing to me, and where would that tee up? Again, I don't have this, but we'd be right in the pocket. It would take some of the could be, might be, some of this, maybe that. It would just start to solidify, so you could start to trade with some conviction. Okay, I got an impulse coming off of this low. So putting that all back together, now I'm thinking, okay, right, so some of this bullish price action here, so you'd be into the idea here that the 4 was in over here, and we just went 1, 2, well, again, you can count this multiple ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1. That's the 2. Now it's 1, 2 because we're about to go lunar. 3. Oh, shit. Kind of lost my thunder there. That little fucker, right? So 1, 2, 3. Now we're over the old highs. Talk about a happy holiday. Over the old highs, 5 pushing up here. You're pushing 100. Now, there's a lot of analysts that think 100 by the end of the year. Well, that's how you get there. Now let's see if we can put that whole thing together. 1, 2, boom. All right, so for the bulls out there, of which I certainly am one, that's, I think, your path, right? If this is going to keep going, we're going to come, there's going to be a reaction here. We need to challenge that pivot, see how the market responds to it. Maybe we come up here and we pivot, we get rejected on the first try, back to the support, up we go. Now we break it. Now, careful about behind the breakout. Let that retrace to all that structure. I mean, you can just see, God, this would make for easy trading. Now, is it going to do that? Well, of course, you never know with Bitcoin, but this is, at least we can look at this and say, based on this price action, looks like that's very impulsive behavior. Right? So it's you always have these wicks like this in Bitcoin because, well, just the nature of crypto, right? You don't get a margin call, you get liquidated, right? So the stops get hit, liquidations kick in, right, which creates those spikes like that. So you look at it. So as an Elliottician, you're saying, well, sure, it looks impulsive, but we're not here yet, right? What's that? That's 52. Show me that little pullback here. I might be interested right there into that, but you're anticipating, right? So this is just a trade, right? We're not position trading here. That's a swing trade with a target. Retrace. Now here, I'd be looking for something bigger. Right, tease it right up. I confirm the 5. I wait for the 3. Get some geometry at prior structure. Boom! I think you could be aggressive here with a target, to new all-time highs. That is some nice looking. Well, that's a road I'd like to drive. All right, so we'll see if we can get that to happen. I think that's pretty much all I have today. Oh, I know what I wanted to update a couple of things. It's this couple we looked at last week. These are so pleasantly. This, I think we looked at this last week. We were right here on this, and it ended up, it went deep. It went into the golden zone, right? So we end up with this right here. I think we were looking here as a contender because we were at the golden zone swing and had one more little kick, and then now we're getting a nice reaction there. So assuming you didn't put your stop at the 618, you should still be in there, although you might have had a little clench right there as it rolled over one more time, but knowing the golden zone was right there, it seemed like a reasonable spot to sustain here. And you can see I had an alert there to see because I wanted to know, right? Because I took that trade, so I want to know if we got wicked out there. Looks like you've got a good turn here, right? We want to get it here. Well, you don't really want to get it here. You'd rather it kind of meandered its way to get it up here, but we shall see, right? I mean, if it's going to do that. Right? If crypto is going to stay strong all weekend, there's nothing wrong with hitting it early, hitting it here. It's just that's a likely spot to get a reaction. So that might create the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that would get us up there. So this is off to a good start. You could probably, tighten up here a little bit on your stop if you've got it. And the other one we were looking at here over the last couple of weeks, and it's just trades that I'm in that. Members directors showed this came from some live streams where members had posted these. I'm like, I like that too. So right here, it looks like we've got a perfect 50 going up if that's the 5. So here, Vegas wave, right to the 233. Got a little kick on that, so you could drop your median lines on that. Again, if it's going to hit it quickly, okay, well, you'd rather it kind of meander its way here so that you hold that 80% and not just burn it right out of the chute. But a couple of trades that are off to a good start doesn't mean anything, right, other than, okay, they're off to a good start. So you could, if you were in and you were giving this lots of room, you could tighten up your stop here, right, on the assumption, well, if it comes back and takes that out, then likely you're going lower. So why take the drawdown, right? Rather just take the very small loser. I'm assuming, again, depending, if you took this trade, you're not far enough to where you'd really make I wouldn't go to break even just yet. Get to that median line, then I would. I think that covers us here. This is one of my shortest videos. I think that covers everything we got here. To get you the most bullish, I think, was this one here. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so I think I covered everything. Okay, guys, there you go. Just quick reminders here, as you know, right? So you can look in our link tree. So, for example, if Motive Wave is of interest to you, I can't recommend this any more highly, right? It's about as good as a TA package as you'll find anywhere. And we have a link in our link tree. To click you over, you can get a 14-day trial on this. Very, very powerful piece of software, but it's something to consider if you're looking for this kind of horsepower. And if you're not a member, or even if you are a member, it's just a nice way to support the channel. We get a little kicker off of that if you click through on our link. Additionally, right, of course, I don't mention this all the time, but I probably should. You can always join us right through in that same link tree. You'll see access to our website. You can join our Discord. You can join us for free. Right, it's the most common path. People come in for free, kind of get a feel, ask other members, what's it like in here, and if you like what you hear, which I'm fairly confident you will, then you can just kind of step it up. You can go to social at $49 a month. Gets you access to everything but the upper belt system. And then if you want to go belt system, if you want to go full and really, really work on your TA, then you can go into the belt system, right? And you can move back and forth between any of those you like. So if you went through white belt, of course, that's part of the free membership. Then if you went blue and you're like, okay, I feel pretty good, you don't have to stay in the belt system. You could downgrade to social at 49, and then when you decided you wanted to go after purple, then you can upgrade again and go back and forth, right? So we're very accommodating that way. It's just whatever's best for you, not what's best for us. So everybody learns a little bit differently, and that's not uncommon as well to have people kind of go back and forth because purple belt that will take you a while, right? That's got some real challenges, and then to pass it, we're looking for 50 profitable trades. Okay, guys, there you go. That'll wrap it up. Have a great weekend. This is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I'm really, really curious to see how it unfolds here. Never a dull moment in crypto. So with that, guys, I wish you guys a good weekend, and we'll catch you on Monday. We'll be back with live streams. Okay, until then.